Welcome to the Accountancy Learning AAT Sample Paper Debriefs. I'm Sarah, and in this video I'll take you through the Principles of Bookkeeping Controls Sample Paper 1 Task 3. So this task is going to be about payment methods and reconciling the cash book to the bank statement. So Part A asks us to insert one payment method for each description by dragging the appropriate option into the space provided. So our options are at the bottom here, and in the exam you will have dragged in the options to the boxes. So let's have a look. A method of making the same regular payment directly from the bank account. So we're going directly from the bank account and it's the same regular payment. So the best one for this then is going to be a standing order. So it means you can set up a repeating payment for the exact same amount on whichever day of the month, week it needs to go out. So that's called a standing order. A payment made by card which immediately impacts the bank account. So what card is it that we can use that it takes the money directly out of our bank account? And that's called a debit card. So be sure to know the difference between a debit card and a credit card. Credit card you pay off at a later date. A debit card takes it immediately from your bank account. A signed written order to a bank to transfer a specified amount of money to a payee. So the signed written order, so this is known as a cheque. So we specify who we're paying, how much, and then we sign it to authorise. And then finally, a method of making regular payments from a bank account which can vary in amount. So you might think this is similar to the top one, which it is, but the difference between the two is that the standing order is the same regular payment, but this one is about regular payment, but it can vary in amount. So maybe, for example, it might be that you have your electricity bill, for example, and they'll take the amount of money each month of the electricity that you've used, and that isn't going to be the same. So that's known as a direct debit. So you can set up a direct debit to authorise a regular payment from your bank account, but the amount may vary. A business is reconciling its bank statement to its cash book balance. Identify which one of the following statements is true. Then we've got all errors in the accounts can be identified by completing a bank reconciliation. So we're talking about all errors in the accounts. Well, the bank reconciliation isn't going to be affecting all accounts. So that one cannot be true. As the bank statement is independent, the cash book total will always be changed to agree to the bank statement total. So this isn't true. We're not looking at changing anything. We're looking at reconciling things. So we want to make sure that they're the same, but we don't go changing any totals. We need to do a reconciliation process. And then finally, the cash book may be more accurate than the bank statement balance as a result of timing differences. So this is true because your timing differences is your unpresented cheques and your outstanding lodgements. So this means that either you have written a cheque to a supplier and they haven't banked it yet, so that will be recorded in the cash book, sent off to the supplier but they haven't yet banked it, so therefore the money hasn't come out of your bank account yet, or an outstanding lodgement, which is that you've received a cheque from a customer, you've put that in your cash book but it's still clearing or hasn't yet been taken to the bank in order for it to show on the bank statement. So therefore the cash book may well be more accurate than the bank statement. Part C, which is the final part of this task, is we now are given 3 statements and we need to identify if they are true or false. So a direct debit for mobile phone bills of £93 is shown in the bank statement. This is not in the cash book. £93 will need to be deducted in the bank reconciliation to make it agree to the cash book. So this is false, because actually what we would be doing is making an adjustment to the cash book to show that. So the direct debit has come out, which means it hasn't been recorded in the cash book. It's an automated payment. It's a regular payment that's been set up. It's come out of the bank statement, so therefore we will adjust in the cash book. We wouldn't deduct it from the bank reconciliation. Unpresented cheques, outstanding lodgements and bank interest are all example of timing differences. So be careful with reading this, because your unpresented cheques are a timing difference, your outstanding lodgements are a timing difference, but your bank interest isn't. It just means that it appears on your bank statement, but it wouldn't be in your cash book. So it'd be a cash book adjustment that you'd need to do. It's not a timing difference. So therefore that statement is false. And then the final one then, comparing the credit side of the cash book to the amounts paid out in the bank statement will enable any automated payments that have been missed in the cash book to be identified. So let's just break that down. We're comparing the credit side of the cash book to the amounts paid out in the bank statement. So when we're looking at the credit side, it means we are decreasing our asset, which means money is being paid out of the bank. So that matches that. And it will enable any automated payments that have been missed. So yes, so if we are looking at the credit side of the cash book and the paid out amounts in the bank statement, it then means we'll pick up if any direct debits or standing orders have gone out that haven't yet been recorded in the cash book. So therefore that's true. So with those sort of questions, just go through, break it down and make sure you understand credit side. So for the credit side in the cash book, that's going to be money being paid out. We're decreasing our assets, so it's our money being paid out. And then you can connect that to amounts paid out in the bank statement, and then just check that it's automated payments. It's really about making sure you read those questions carefully. And that brings us to the end of task 3.